All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Desmond, Ofosu Anim, a PhD student at the University of Melbourne, and I'm part of the Waterway Ecosystem Research Group at the University of Melbourne, where we basically look at urban stormwater management, where we try to do research that helps to managers to understand the relationship or the link between urbanization and stream ecosystem processes and functions. So today my presentation is going to be on the topic, is it just the flow? Addressing physical habitat degradation in urban stream. So just to give a little bit of background, so urbanization is widely recognized to impact catchment hydrological processes, where so when a forest catchment is urbanized, there's an increase in the pervious surfaces, which lead to increases in surface stormwater runoff. And the traditional approach of trying to address this excess stormwater runoff is by building what managers do is to build hydraulically efficient storm drains that connect the impervious surfaces to the stream. So it means that almost all the surface runoff that forms on the catchment just get directed to the stream, to the waterways, surrounding waterways. And what research has found is that this causes alteration in the flow regimes or the hydrocarbon regime in the stream, where the stream experiences flash flows, especially when it rains, where there's higher and more rapid peak discharge and lower base flow and more rapid recession. And research has shown, especially from our research group and other research has shown, that the effect of urbanization on stream ecosystem is primarily driven by the runoff, which is identified as the key driver. So, and hence, all the flow regime has been considered as the master stressor, although there are other stressors like water quality problems and other things. But this research that has been done have identified the audit flow regime as the master stressor of the stream ecosystem disturbance. So, with this, has kind of led to urban stream degradation being in large part considered a hydrological problem. So this has led to various research that try to help managers to understand how they can manage this flow regime. And mostly what managers do is to apply catchment skills, stormwater control measures that try to mimic the pre-development hydrological processes at the catchment level to reduce the impact of the stormwater input, and in hopes of restoring the ecosystem processes for ecological benefit. But one thing that is important for us to understand is that while the hydrology or the outlet flow is key, the intermediate mechanism by which the flow interacts with the channel to be translated into various hydraulic components such as depth, velocities, is critical to the success of management strategies. So mostly what the previous research does is they try to understand the relationship of the flow alteration and directly connect it to the aquatic ecosystem functions. And the negative aspect of that is that it kind of neglects the role of the channel or the topographic features within the channel in steering the hydrology to impact the aquatic ecosystem. So the motivation of this research is that the current approach to understand the link between urban-induced changes are commonly done by directly relating hydrological metrics to ecosystem functions, but the hydraulics form a key coordinating template for aquatic ecosystem processes, and it's what biota experience, not the hydrology. And hydraulic metrics may provide a better mechanistic understanding and a greater intermediate help of pathway for us to be able to understand the relationship of the urban-induced changes to the aquatic ecosystem. So it is the goal of this research is to try to evaluate the relative influence of the flow and the channel form in setting the hydraulic template that the biota experience. So what I did is to select 2 sites of the same stream in the Cardinia catchment in Eastern Melbourne. So one stream drains in predominantly forest catchments that is upstream of the Cardinia catchment, and the other side is within the urban side that drains an urban catchment. So I did survey of the topography of the channel to get the morphology for the hydraulic modeling, and I also measured the flow regime for each side. So the method that I used was to apply 2D hydraulic modeling, and also did investigate 4 hydrogeomorphic scenarios. So what I did was to take the urban channel with its urban hydrology, and also the natural channel with its natural hydrology, and model. So first I modeled the urban channel with the urban hydrology, then I put the natural hydrology and modeled it in the urban channel. And I did the same for the natural channel. So I modeled the natural channel with the natural hydrology, and then model the natural channel with the urban hydrology. So each scenario kind of tests the current condition in the urban and natural reach, as well as conceptually represent management approach of either restoring the flow or the morphology. And the test scenarios were compared for their habitat value and also for susceptibility to disturbance or erosion. So I look at other hydraulic metrics, but for this presentation, I'm just going to talk about the channel bed disturbances using the shear stress metric, and also the physical habitat availability looking at the slack water habitat area. So for the results of the channel bed disturbance using the shear stress metric, the scenarios modeled under the urban channel, this one suggests a substantially higher bed particle movement within the channel. So realize that within the year, most of the time the urban channel is experiencing high shear stresses, which means the potential of bed mobility within that channel is very high. And when we modeled the natural flow, even in the urban channel, contrary to expectations, the natural hydrology in the urban channel did not significantly reduce the bed disturbance regime, even though the frequency and duration were to some extent reduced. So you can see that we just observed a 20% decrease in the potential bed disturbance within the urban channel even when we put a natural flow regime in the channel, as compared to when we put the urban hydrology in the natural channel. So yes, we observed a 60% decrease of the potential channel bed disturbance. So even with the urban hydrology, with frequent storm flows and high flows, when we model it in the natural channel, we experience a 60% decrease, as compared to a 20% decrease when we put a natural flow, which we expect that when we are able to manage the flow and we restore the flow close to pre-development levels, the bed disturbance or the channel experiencing frequent mobility is expected to reduce, but that wasn't what we found. And I also performed a time series analysis approach that tests the shear strength metric for continuous events above incremental higher threshold. And it shows the continued duration of the bed disturbance in the urban channel was high, mostly above 6 days. So it means that the channel experienced continuous above threshold of bed mobility compared to the natural flow. Compared to the natural channel, which is mostly within 1 to 5 days. So the potential of the channel experiencing a continuous bed mobility disturbance within the channel was reduced even for an urban hydrology in a non-urban channel. And also for the slack water habitat area, similar results was also experienced, where the results suggest limited availability of slack water areas in the urban channel While although it is maximized at low flow, it diminishes rapidly as flow increases, as compared to the natural channel, which showed a consistent availability of slap water even under urban hydrology. So, in conclusion, what the results showed was that both altered flow regime and channel form play a key role in altering the hydraulic regime. So, in our attempt for urban stormwater managers to restore the natural ecosystem or the stream ecosystem towards its pre-development model regime, they shouldn't just concentrate on the altered flow regime, but they should also think about how they can restore the channel form, which also play a key role in altering the hydraulic regime. And the results suggest that the hydraulic conditions are also sensitive, even more sensitive compared to the flow regime, to the channel, and the management actions to address in-stream habitat degradation should consider opportunities for self-regeneration of the channel form. So what this means for managers is that the inference from this research do not in any way diminish the value of achieving a natural flow regime. So indeed, any self-regeneration by the stream is only possible if we address the hydrology first. But without a natural-like morphology, that is the key message here. Without a natural-like morphology, the natural hydrologic regime that stormwater managers try to achieve may not be realized in the natural hydraulic conditions that is important for the biota to experience. And there may be opportunities to accompany catchment scale flow mitigation works with promotion of self-regeneration of the stream morphology. So it means that restoration efforts, once both the flow and the channel are changed, will require an integrated approach. So we try to restore the hydrology, but in a way when the channel is fundamentally degraded, which is mostly the case for most urban channels, where it is simplified with less diversity in the morphology. Then the managers should also think about ways that they can help the channel, or they can try for the channel to self-regenerate itself. And hydraulic metrics could be used to measure the effectiveness of these management strategies. And management efforts should incorporate anticipated effects of the strategies that they employ on the stream hydraulics. Thank you.